This is hard copy for Wednesday, May 6, 1992. Hello and welcome. I'm Barry Nolan.
And I'm Terry Murphy. Good evening. Across America, folks are staying up late, counting down Johnny Carson's final days. By now, most of us know Johnny is packing it in after 3 decades, but not everyone knows why. Doug Bruckner reveals the story of the king of late night, the king of pain.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny. For 29 years, 7 months, and 25 days, Johnny Carson has chosen the who's who of Hollywood.
You like my hair?
Yeah, very
Want
nice.
some?
But now, the king of the night is giving up his throne, riding his Mercedes into the sunset. And while he asks if there's life after tonight, many others ask why. Why is Johnny quitting?
Why is he going to retire? Well, what's he going to do?
He's happy and sad about it. There's a lot of long relationships that he'll miss.
I think it's not going to be the United States of America anymore. Not without Johnny.
To most Americans, Johnny Carson is the unflappable master of the one-liner, a loner who's laughed through life.
She left her teeth in the dress store?
Yes.
I can't think of anything worse for a woman. She buys a new dress and then can't talk about it.
But through the decades, the hip 60s, the comfortable 70s, the peaceful 80s, his life has been full of private grief and turmoil that may have finally taken their toll.
Rick was around you. You wanted to smile. He tried so darn hard to please. And he had a laugh that was contagious as could be.
Everything seemed so bright and full of promise all those years ago. These photos, lost since 1960, show the fledgling TV host with his first family, his college sweetheart wife and their 3 perfect boys. It was about this time that Steve Allen was creating the show that would take Johnny Carson into the 90s.
It was already full steam. It had been a hit under myself and under Jack Parr's very fine 5 years. So all Johnny had to do was sit in there and do that same thing.
But a year after these pictures were taken, Jody left Johnny, and she took the boys. By 1962, Johnny was a hard-working, hard-living celebrity with only a few close friends. His sidekick Ed McMahon was along to keep him out of trouble. Drummer Buddy Rich was his cool, swinging alter ego, and Jack Benny was his surrogate dad.
You better start to develop some other kind of talent instead of just sitting behind that desk talking. That's not enough. There's a question how long you can get away with it.
Life started anew for Johnny when he married a sexy model named Joanne Copeland in 1963. But 9 years later, they divorced, and Johnny replaced Joanne with Joanna.
She got him to travel, go to Europe, go to various places. I think she brought him out of the house.
But the messenger of misery was never far from Johnny's house. A year after his 3rd marriage, his idol Jack Benny was dead.
Well, Johnny, don't breathe a word of this to anybody, will you?
Disaster struck again when Joanna divorced him, winning the largest divorce settlement in Hollywood history, $22 million.
It's very difficult to find out how something has affected Johnny because he's so secretive. He's very quintessential WASP. Quiet, the guy who doesn't cry at the funeral, perfectly reserved.
When Johnny married Alex Moss in 1986, his life seemed to have turned around. But misfortune visited again that very same year when Buddy Rich passed away. For the first time, Johnny Carson canceled his show. But nothing in the years to follow would match the heartache of last summer.
Looking good. You really are.
I feel good.
It began when one of Johnny's closest friends, Michael Landon, announced to the world that he was dying.
But the hair looks great.
I had my roots done yesterday, especially for this show. 2 blood transfusions and I had my roots done.
Amid the bravery and the self-conscious joking about the inevitable, you could see that Johnny was shattered.
I think when Johnny Carson makes a quip, it's not a joke. You're seeing the pain come out in Johnny Carson. That's how a guy like that gets it out.
And then, while he was on a long vacation, tragedy struck home. His middle son, Rick, was killed in a tragic car crash.
When officers got to the scene, they found Mr. Carson and his vehicle about 125 feet down an embankment.
When he returned to TV 2 weeks later, Johnny Carson broke the ice he had held in place for 3 decades, finally facing his audience as a tragic man.
This is the first opportunity I've had to talk publicly about the events that have happened in the last several weeks. I'm sure that a good many of you know that one of my sons, Rick, was killed in an accident on June the 21st. I think you can tell a lot about a person by the manner in which he sees things around him through his own eyes and is able to translate those images to others. So if you'll forgive a father's pride, I'd like to end tonight's show by showing you some of my son's work taken during the last several months of his life.
1 week later, Michael Landon was dead. In past months, there have been stories about how Jay Leno's camp pushed for Johnny to abdicate early, that Johnny was too old to face the challenge of the new breed.
If you think about it, when I posted this show, I've seen Vice President Johnson become president, Vice President Ford become president, Vice President Bush become president. Better quit while we're all safe.
But at 66, Johnny Carson is reclaiming his life. He's moving more of his belongings here, his vacation home in Deer Valley, Utah. He's trading in fame for the family that's drifted so far away, his wife Alex and his 2 surviving sons, Chris and Corey. At 6:30 on May 22nd, the king of the night will watch beautiful downtown Burbank fade away in his rearview mirror, and he won't be coming back.
No matter how bad the world was, whether it was falling apart, we're in a war, in a recession, you could go to sleep feeling pretty good. Jay Leno, the jury's going to be out.
Oh, you think of all the careers that were launched on Johnny Carson's show, and you have to imagine all these people sitting out there now who want bookings desperately before May 22nd.
And think of a generation coming up without knowing what you're talking about when you refer to the great Carson, or everything you could possibly want to know is in that book. All the great stuff.
Can you get us on before the end of the season?
I don't think so. I'm going to miss it. Now, the most outrageous Pulitzer Prize-winning newspaper in America. Meet the Page 6 girl.
Page 6 girl is I guess, the girl next door.
There next.